Hi, I had the idea the other day to do a year in review video as an excuse to talk about some things that have been happening to me. So let's talk about 2020. This was a year that, as I understand it, was very rough for a lot of people, and I was one of the lucky ones in that the lifestyle that I've been living for the last several years didn't really have to change at all. I have a very solitary life at home where I go out once a week for groceries, I'm able to work remotely, and that's just about it. I just don't have a lot of interaction with other people, and that's the way I've gotten used to it. That's kind of the way that I like it. So yeah, I kind of lucked out a lot on that. My preference is always to avoid mentioning specific current events in any video that I do, so I don't really want to go into more detail than that, but that's how I've been doing. Personal stuff. Around this time last year, I was playing a whole lot of World of Warcraft, and I talked about this a video or two ago, and I realized a few months ago that my playing of that game had just sort of been tapering off, and I just really wasn't logging into it anymore. So I figured out that I had really gotten everything that I wanted to get out of that game this time around. So it was great to be able to revisit that virtual world where I had spent a bunch of time many years ago, have some fun at it again, and then be able to just set it down and be done with it again. So yeah, I'm out of that world for the moment. I lost some more weight. So I had a long-standing goal of getting down to 165 pounds. That was something that I had set the very first time I realized, hey, I'm heavier than I need to be, let's do something about this. Didn't get there then. I was just still learning how to manage my weight and what to do about it. Learned more about how my body works as the years went on, and I was able to recently just make a few habit changes and just slowly and gently get down to where I wanted to be. So for my height, that puts me pretty much right in the middle of the recommended healthy weight range. And it feels great. My clothes fit better. I feel like I have more energy. It's very good. So I'm happy to finally have been able to get to that goal. And another big thing that I did was I finally decided that I was tired of using an Apple computer as my primary way of interacting with the world every day. And I went ahead and did some research, bought a new laptop that is now running Ubuntu Linux. So that is my daily driver now. It's a little bit different. It was an adjustment. It was a big pain to get all my files moved over, and all the processes for the daily things I do, like email, was a huge pain. But yeah, everything that I do with a computer, I now do on Linux, and I'm very glad I made that change. Yeah, I might talk a bit more about that later. So this is kind of a big deal to me because I've had Apple computers for my entire life. That was my first introduction to computers when I was, 2 or 3 years old or whatever. I've just always had them around. But my relationship with Apple has just soured more and more over the years, to the point where I just don't really want to use a Mac anymore. You can see this one over here. That MacBook Pro is the one I used to use for everything. Now it's just a work computer. So I only have to interact with it when I'm doing work that requires it. So that is fine. So I thought it'd be fun to do a quick little living space tour. I gave you one of these when I had first moved in here, and I just reviewed it and realized, whoa, a lot of things have kind of changed a lot. So let's switch camera angles. There we go. Okay, yeah, so that's where I was just sitting. Yes, so the actual computer that I'm using now is right back here. It's a System 76 Lemur Pro, I think it is. So, it's a laptop, which means it's nice and quiet. I can just run it closed there. And I got this new display that's kind of huge. It's nice. It's a 3860 by 2138, whatever double 1080p is. And so I'm just running it at 1080p at 2 times high DPI mode, whatever they call that. Every platform seems to have a different name for it. That's a little iffy, but it works. So yeah, it's nice to, instead of being all hunched down with a laptop screen that's like way down here, I can actually sit and look straight at the screen now and just use normal input peripherals. And since it's a laptop, again, it's very quiet. The CPU fans only come on when they need to, as opposed to this PC that I play games on, which just has fans that run all the time, and I didn't want a big desktop box just doing all my daily work, because I like it quiet. Anyway, yeah, so that's my computer setup. Yeah, recording is still over here. That's pretty much the same as it has been. Yeah, so let's just sort of look around the room. I don't know, things are more organized. It's like 2 years and change since last time we did this. We got this new chair. I went through a lot of office chairs and kept having to replace them. They'd break after a few years, and I decided to just go ahead and buy an expensive one so that it would hopefully last me longer. There's a steel case, I think, somewhere in here. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, so it cost a lot of money, but it's a good upgrade. I had this table custom made. I have another one just like it. So I wanted a table at that specific size, 2 of them in fact. The important thing was the height, because I use this table and the other one I'll show you in a minute for recording. And putting my microphone on a surface, it's kind of a super pain to have to like adjust the height of this. So I want to be able to have that chair at its current setting, that microphone at its current setting, and be able to just sit down at any surface where I need to record in my house and be able to just do that. So I can do that now. Yeah, so I just matched the height of this with that table and the dimensions, width and depth that it needed to be. Anyway, yeah. So this is my workstation when I'm doing my day job, which still requires a Mac, but other than that, I can just ignore that thing. And it's nice. So yeah, I've probably seen most of this before. Bedroom here. Yep. Master bathroom, etc. Down the hall here, there's a second bathroom, which looks the exact same as it always did. Doesn't really get any use. This is where I kept my kitten for the 3 weeks that I had her. And that was real nice. But I had to find her a new home. And I'm glad I did, but I also miss her pretty much every day. So this room across from that second bathroom, storage for like DVDs and books and things. And I bring that computer chair over here. Focus, please. There it goes. Bring that chair in here and sit at this spot when I'm streaming console games or recording those. So yeah, microphone just comes and sits here. So this is the same height as that other table in there, so I can just bring it over and it's no problem. Yeah, so I have keyboard, mouse connected to this computer. This was my old game computer. That's right. The one that I showed back in there was new as of about a year ago. Built a new one, upgraded stuff, and had the old one for recording things. Still has the same capture card in it that I used for a lot of things. I have a second one in that computer over there, but don't really have anything to do with it. But in case I need a backup, I have it. So yeah, many cables going into the back of this from consoles and stuff. But yeah, so I can just sit here and see the game displayed on the TV there, and if I need to look at like stream chat or recording status or anything, it's on that display. It's a little awkward. This is kind of not at a great distance or angle, but it works. So yeah, that's what those are connected to. I just have the cables routed here so that I can walk through here without tripping on them or anything. Yeah, so that's this room. Over here, dining area, kitchen, tool storage. That's just where I keep my things. Just happened to be most convenient like that. It's cold out there. I'm not going to go outside. What's the temperature? Well, can't really see that, but it says 31 degrees Fahrenheit, and I need to replace the batteries in my thermometer. Yep, so just below freezing. Cold day. Kitchen, about the same as ever. Yep, it's a kitchen. It works. One thing I did change, I have this water dispenser here. I got a whole water softener and drinking water filtration system put in, And it came with this super janky, still have the components for this. So there's this button that hooked up to it wirelessly communicated to a little box that I actually still have down here. Where are you? Well, it's hard to see, but it's this thing. So water comes in here, and this is a T-junction that goes off to the input to the filter system. Then the output of that went back to this box, and the button up there was supposed to, I'd press it, and it would communicate with the thing down there and switch the water supply coming through here between drinking water and, unfiltered. And that worked about as well as you would expect, which is not very well at all. I just hated that system every time I interacted with it. So I went ahead and figured out how to cut a hole through my granite countertop here and install this actual separate physical water dispenser. So yeah, just a simple physical connection from the output of the water storage tank to that. And I get this water when I want it and this water when I want it. No excessive electronics in the way, and it's nice. Basement's down there. We can go down there in a minute. Dance machines are about the same as they always have been. My couch moved from there down to the basement. This one, still just sitting there, waiting for me to do something with it. That something is probably to sell it to someone, but I haven't made any effort to do that. But yeah, these still work great. I still use them about every other day as my habit. Yeah, they're very good for me. Basement, sure, let's go there. A lot of the stuff in here, I don't know, I've just done like basic maintenance, fix-ups, messed with my furnace a little bit. Here's the actual water filtration system. So all I have to do with this is open this up on occasion, dump some more rock salt into it. It's full now. So yeah, that's the water softener. The filtration's up by the kitchen sink. This room is interesting. Like, I come down here and think, this sure is a room in my house that I don't do much with. That's where the couch went. It's just here, has a bunch of old computer stuff in it. So that's where I store those things if I ever need to mess with them. Old chairs and stuff. Yeah, that's what's here. That's where my old dance pads are. These things just don't really get any use because I have the arcade machines up there. Oh, I have this. There we go. Now I can see more. Okay. And yeah, this was the chair that I replaced with that new one up there. It's kind of rickety. It took me a while to get used to the new one. Like, this one has the seat depth is much larger on this, and my legs were very used to that, as I found out. And I was actually kind of in a lot of pain when I was sitting in the new chair for like a week or so until my muscles adapted to sitting in that position. But I was sure that they would, and they did. So now that's more comfortable for me. But yeah, there was an adaptation period that was not very nice. Anyway, yeah, so that's my house. That's what I've done with it. Yep. Yeah, I'd take you outside, but it's cold. So I don't want to go out there. Alright, let's go back to the computer. Sorry about the angle. Clip in, there we go. And this was about like that or so. Sure, why not? That'll do. Okay, so let's talk about Let's Plays that I've done. So some of the highlights over this last year for me were the Marathon Trilogy. That was a huge amount of fun. I was really happy to play those games. I was very impressed with just how much fun they were all these years later. And yeah, that was great. And similarly, Hell is Other Demons was another very memorable one. Apparently I need to play more like shooty action games, because those were just always this feel-good thing that I'd every day that I was recording them, I'd sit down to play them like, yeah, I get to play this game today. It's cool. Anyway, yeah, and other highlights were Mirror Drop. That was such a cool, just like otherworldly. Well, one pretty impressive technology showcase. Sorry, still adjusting my camera. It's not quite in the right place, but close enough. And yeah, just real neat place to hang out for a little while. And I guess Bug Fables was technically had started last year, but most of it took place this year. So that was another big highlight. And it's not concluded yet, but I think Spelunky 2 is going to be another one of my favorites. It's kind of the one that I put the most effort into right now. It's the big production, takes a lot of time to get through, but it's been totally worth it. So yeah, those are kind of the specific games I wanted to mention that were really highlights for me over this last year. And I have some upcoming games that I think are worth talking about. So let's go through. Sorry, my notes are way over here, so this angle might be awkward. I need to read them specifically. So there's a game called The Golem, which is something that I want to try. It has a reputation as being a brutally hard puzzle game, and I don't want to do it right now, right after my experience with a Monsters Expedition, which just got to be too exhausting in its end game. But I definitely want to at least look at it. It's likely that it will be added to the pile of wreckage containing the Fish Fillets 2, Endgame Monsters Expedition, Tiny Tall Tower, Last Few Things in Shenzhen.io, all those things, but I'm probably going to play it anyway because I want to see what it's like. And kind of similar to that, there's a custom set of levels for Recursed called the Ice Palace, which, again, has a reputation for being very good, but fairly hard. So yeah, see, this is the thing. Like, my list of games to do has so many things on it that are puzzle games that take a lot of mental energy and are pretty hard to get through, but have lots of interesting stuff in them. I just can't be doing those all the time. So the list empties fairly slowly, depending on like how much energy I have for recording that sort of thing. But I think it's a little more plausible to be able to get through that one in a Let's Play format based on what I've heard about it. But I don't know. We'll just have to play it and find out. There's a game called Outer Wilds that's been suggested many times by a lot of people. That one's come up very consistently, so I don't know a whole lot about it, so I still have the chance to play it pretty much blind. I know just like vaguely what kind of game it is, and I think I did see a couple of details about how the world is put together, but they were so out of context that they pretty much mean nothing to me right now. So yeah, so that should be a fun time when I get around to it. There will be additional Drod holds at some point. I do want to play more of that game. My list of holds to play is running a little bit dry. It's getting harder to find a perfect candidate for doing it. But I still have a few that I could do, so we'll get there. And in a similar vein, Legend of Grimrock 2, there are additional modules for that I do want to play. I am still kind of cooling off from my experience with Isle of the Deranged, but I do intend to get to those. And honestly, I'm more interested in Grimrock 2 than 1, so I have a list of Grimrock 1 modules I could play, but those are less fun for me, so I like to focus on the newer game. And yeah, there's just like a bunch of games. I have this huge list of like hundreds of items that I get to pick from whenever it's time to choose a new game to play. And why does it still look wrong? I guess it needs to be like this. But that doesn't look great either. All right, whatever. Stop messing with it. Anyway, yeah, so a list of hundreds of games. I get to pick whatever I'm in the mood for whenever I need to choose a new game. And there are a whole bunch that I've noticed have always hovered just below the threshold of where I'll actually end up playing them. So let's just go through those that I've picked out rapid fire. And if any of these names particularly arouse your interest, then let me know and maybe it can push it over the top and we can actually get to that right away. Feel free to suggest more things. Feel free to suggest, hey, this game is actually something you wouldn't like, or there's this reason you probably shouldn't be playing it. Vote up, vote down, etc. Just feedback is cool. So let's go through them real quick. TowerFall, Yankai's Peak, Into the Breach, Myst, That's Myst with a Y, of course, you know the game. Factorio, Braid, Her Story, Starseed Pilgrim, Tomb of the Taskmaker, Fez, Antichamber. Oh, I have Outer Wilds in here again. Okay, I already talked about that. And a Journey to Rooted Hold replay. So there was a new version of that hold that came out with challenges added, new aesthetics. I've actually played both that one and the original, but I would like to revisit that and get a new recording with my current Drod knowledge at some point. Anyway, yeah, so that's a rapid fire list of those that are like, could happen any day, but they've been in could happen any day status for like a couple of years now, a lot of them. Anyway, yeah, so just wanted to catch up with all of you. Been good to talk, and I guess I'll see you next time.